I would distance myself for the investigation to be done before ndio tukuje karibu na wewe, sababu unaweka allegations ziko kubwa sana. Mara anasema mimi niko suicidal, mara anasema nilijaribu kuwaua kwa gari, mara akasema mimi nilijaribu kujiua kwa kujikata kisu, na akasema hata mtoto hayuko safe karibu na mimi, ati mtoto wangu hayuko safe karibu na mimi. My friend, what I did, distance kutoka hiyo time, nikakataa kuingia kwa nyumba, nikatoka kazi, nikamwandikia message, nikamwambia because umesema hizo zote allegation, sitaweza kuja kwa nyumba, nitatafuta mbio. Nilala kwa gari that day, nilala kwa gari.
Hello and welcome to my channel. So that's Albert, who is based in the US. He was just giving an account of how his wife Diana has been making allegations against him. So to give you a backstory of this guy, he left Kenya for the US in 2013. I think he married someone, so he got a green card as somebody's spouse. So currently he's got 2 kids, one from the first marriage called Isaac, and the second child is with this wife, Diana. In 2019, his father fell ill. The guy wasn't involved in the funeral arrangements. That's because the WhatsApp group that was created to organize the funeral didn't include him. Time he was threatened not to get involved with the father's funeral arrangements. I don't know who was threatening him, and somebody started spreading rumors about him being locked up in prison, hence why he wasn't able to participate in his father's funeral. Then around 2020, he met this woman on Facebook, that is the current wife. I don't know whether he had already divorced the first wife by that time. So in 2021, he got to travel to Kenya. Then that was the first time he met with this Diana lady. And because there was bad blood between him and his family, because remember, he was excluded from his father's funeral, he didn't bother to meet his relatives. So he went to Mombasa on a romantic holiday with Diana. Then on the last day when he was set to return to the US, he met with his brother, made sure he took a picture with him, which the brother posted on his WhatsApp status. And then through that, his other relatives got to know that he had actually visited Kenya but didn't bother to see them. So it created tension. But then he went back to the US. Then after a few months, he decided to travel back to Kenya. This time he went all the way to Kisii. That's where he had built his mansion, which he hadn't seen. So when he got there, he realized people were using his compound as a store. So he fell out of love with that house. In fact, I don't think he even did that ceremony he intended to do for officially opening the house. Fast forward in 2023, his mother also fell ill, but he wasn't given information about her ailment. But then the worker who was taking care of the mother got in touch with him. So he or she was the one who was updating him about his mother's situation. But when his relatives realized that this worker was in communication with Albert, they chased the worker away. So he wasn't able to keep track of his mother's health. And unfortunately, on Christmas Eve that year, his mother passed on. I don't know how he got the information, but then around that time, he had already married Diana. In fact, Diana was expecting their child. Now, this is omitted from the funeral plans because they didn't even allow him to join the WhatsApp group. He had to sneak in as an anonymous person. He ended up making the largest contribution towards the funeral expenses. Come the day of burial, his sister, who is based in the US, was allowed to make her speech via phone. He was barred from doing the same, but because he insisted, one of his relatives, either a cousin or one of his brothers, handed his phone to the MC, so he was able to make his speech that way. And then he made an excuse of not being able to attend the funeral because his wife was delivering their child. So he praised his wife because she was the only one who was there to lean on when he had this strife with his family members. So if you're wondering how he met this lady was based in Kenya, obviously. They met via Facebook. Then in 2021, he traveled to Kenya, and that's when he met her for the first time. So this girl was doing an internship, but it turns out that internship was an unpaid one. So he decided to convince her to stop doing that internship. Then he took over his expense into a house, which he paid for and furnished. He used to send like maintenance funds every week. But these girl's friends were sort of discouraging her from conducting a relationship with him. But she was stubborn, so they got married when she was only 19. And I think the guy was 29 that time. So the guy advised the lady to start a YouTube channel where they were documenting their romantic relationship. Like a loving couple on social media. Until 2 weeks ago, when it emerged that this lady has been torturing this guy and has been making allegations which the man claims are false allegations. So you've heard how the guy said the lady became violent with the hopes that the man would retaliate so that she can have a reason to put a case on him. So he decided to move into a hotel. I don't know whether he's still residing in a hotel. So far, she has called cops like 4 times to their residence. And it seems like somebody is brainwashing this girl because she's only been in the US for either 2 years or less than 2 years. It seems like she's trying to create a reason to be able to use this VAWA system of applying for residency without the help of the person who first petitioned. So let's just hear what VAWA means.
It is Violence Against Women Act, VAWA.
Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, allows certain non-citizens, undocumented persons who are in abusive situations to petition and adjust their immigration status without needing the abuser, spouse, child, or parent to file on their behalf. These persons may include the spouse of a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident when the abuser is the U.S. citizen, legal resident spouse, or a member of their family living in the home. The child of a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident when the abuser is the parent, parent's spouse, or a family member of the parent or parent's spouse living in the home. The child of the battered spouse, the parent of the battered child.
To me, it seems like she just wanted to use Albert as a bridge to get to the US, but it seems like she doesn't have the patience of waiting for him to file a petition to extend her stay in the US, which I think is very unwise because I understand this VAWA is not a guarantee, or even if you successfully apply for it, it kind of takes time for you to be granted. So they didn't sign a prenup agreement because they got married in Kenya, and it seems like they did it hurriedly. And this guy on that story, which I'm going to link below, he said he had wanted to buy a house, but he decided to change his mind once he noticed the lady has started acting funny. Because, once you're married to somebody, anything you buy half of it belongs to your spouse. So I think Albert made a very big mistake because he fell for this girl's looks, because she is an attractive lady. And then the girl is also emboldened to mistreat him because he opened up about the problems he was experiencing with his immediate family members. So she knows he has no one to run to. Then this Diana needs to be advised about the mistakes she's making, because Albert is the one who filed for her to get a green card. So he can decide to sabotage that process. If her plans backfire, now that Albert is aware of how nasty she is, he's obviously lost trust in her. So even if she decides to come back and try to ask for forgiveness, I don't think Albert will buy that apology. And that mistrust is obviously going to have a negative effect on their relationship, which is going to affect the innocent children who have been caught up in this nonsense. So Albert also mentioned that his ex-wife is helping this Diana woman to torture him. And I think it's very unwise of Diana to involve that first wife, because she doesn't know what her agenda is. This first wife or ex-wife could still be in love with Albert, and maybe she wants to get back with him, hence why she's helping Diana break her own marriage so that there's room for her to weasel her way back. Then Diana also needs to know that all these allegations could make Albert catch a criminal case, which will have a negative impact on her, especially given that she's not working. Albert is the main breadwinner, so if he gets a criminal conviction, it's going to affect her source of income. So I know guys in the diaspora, as in the Western world, always opt for getting wives from their home countries because they deem them to be more submissive than the women who have been born and bred in the Western world, which is understandable. But this case shows you a woman can change, even if she hails from a culture that teaches women to be submissive to their husbands. Because once she comes to a new environment that supports actions which encourage women to take advantage of guys, she might flip on you, because you'll have lawyers who will be in her ear, or some wicked friends like this ex-wife of Albert. It also goes to show that even if you're attracted to a lady, I think it's important to take time to know who you're dealing with. I think Albert rushed that relationship. He just saw a beautiful woman on Facebook and decided that was going to be the love of his life. So I really feel bad for these children because innocent. And if Diana didn't really want to have a family, if all she wanted was just to get to the US, it might make her mistreat this child she had with Albert, because it seemed like she wasn't ready to be a family woman. So I hope they'll come to an understanding and part ways amicably. I hope Albert has smelled the coffee and is going to engage good lawyers, because he has a tough fight ahead. But regardless of what is going to happen, he should prepare himself to be on the hook for the next 18 or is it 21 years on child support. So chime your thoughts in the comment section below, like and share this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.